Know your Lord. We learn about his names and his attributes. Know your Lord. What he approves and disapproves. Know your Lord. Believe in all things that he has brought forth. Know his oneness, Lord.
Know Your Lord, part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, right here on Sunnahfollowers. Being taught by Ustada Layla Nashiba as she lays down the foundations to get you together. Learn about your Lord. Know your Lord. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. And understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us, and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Kareem Abu Zaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know. Okay, Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Akida class. And before we begin our class, I just want to let everyone know that at 9 o'clock tonight, we have Dr. Ali joining. And Dr. Ali is going to speak to you guys about a new entertainment service that he's put together for you and your family. So you want to make sure that you're here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for his announcement. Okay, and also before I get started, please, guys, I did check our account today because I told you guys I hadn't been checking because I've been tied up with other stuff going on here. We are $300 overdrawn, and this is the end of the month. What happened was I don't know why, but yes, I do. I forgot those two. But anyway, guys, we're $300 overdrawn in our account. So please, get us out the hole. And also remember that when the first comes, we're going to need $300 more to pay for the server and stuff. So we're calling out to please donate to support this Dawah effort. I wasn't checking our account to see how we were all week because I was busy dealing with other issues. But subhanAllah, yes, I figured we would be overdrawn, and we are by $300. So please support us. Please donate tonight. You can use Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, please. And I'm going to keep the banner going all night because we got to get out that hole. And it's $30 a day for what they charge when you're overdrawn, because I looked at it, it's $30 a day. So that means it's going to be more than 300. It's going to keep adding up each day. So please, guys, donate and look at the rewards you'll get for keeping this website on the internet. Subhanallah. And so with that said, let's get started on the class for tonight. I'm not going to be too long tonight because my mother has just had surgery. That's what I've been dealing with all week. So, and I got to keep my phone here in case, I get a call from one of them. All right. So for this class, we've been discussing how if your belief system is not correct, if we do not believe in the lordship of Allah, then nothing else matters. And we've been speaking about how, unfortunately, this nation has deviated into so many sets and groups. Here in America, most of the Muslims are murjia. If I were to go around and do a take a censor of all the Muslims here in America, you would find that the majority of them are in the murjia set, which is one of the Sufi sets, the Mutazila set. All of them are the same. Yeah, just bit different sets, and what makes them fall in that category, you can look and see how we're reacting about this war that's going on. The way that the Muslims around the world, period, are reacting shows that most of Muslims around the world fall in that group. Okay. But I'm concerned with American Muslims. They can't handle the fact that we're protesting against the Decatur of Allah. Protesting is haram. Protesting like like you Muslims are doing, like the Kafirs do, with signs and all of that stuff. All you're doing is protesting against the decree of Allah. This is haram, and we Muslims have become just like the non-believers. We act like them. We live like them. We fight like them. You fight just like them. Okay. You fight against the law like they do. So all of this boycotting and all this protesting and all this putting your trust in the hands of a non-Muslim, putting your trust in the hands of man instead of Allah, it just further proves that the majority of the Muslims do not believe in the lordship of Allah. And the aspect of Allah's lordship that we struggle with is the aspect that the Prophet said we would struggle with. Remember the hadith, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every nation of people have their fire worshipers. The fire worshipers of my nation are those who claim to be Muslim, but they don't believe in the qadr of Allah. And he said, you're going to find that most Muslims are not believers. They're not Muslims because they don't believe in the qadr of Allah. They don't believe that Allah is the creator of all things. They don't believe that Allah has knowledge of all things. They don't believe that Allah, that nothing will happen unless Allah wills it. That's all the different categories of the lordship of Allah. And we can see that Muslims are struggling with that today. Okay, we don't believe that the war was brought here by Allah. We don't believe that that Allah can stop it if he wants. We don't believe that we did anything to bring it on. So today what I'm going to do is focus on the history, because again, you have to know the history of this religion to understand these hadiths and to understand the verses of the Quran. So today we're going to be covering, and let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Tonight we're going to be covering pages 135 through 138, which is finishing up this chapter in the adult book. In the children's book, where it's still this whole chapter, pages 231 through 241 in the children's book. And today, hopefully, you guys will see, how this deviation in the belief in Allah's names and attributes, because that's what it boils down to. Allah is the creator. That's one of his names. He's the creator of everything, good and evil. He's the creator of sickness. He's the creator of war. He's the creator of disease. This is what the Muslims don't believe today, the Murjia and Sufi groups and stuff. These protesters, they don't believe that. They don't believe that Allah creates war. They don't believe that Allah creates disease. That's why they didn't take the COVID shot. They don't believe that Allah creates sickness. That's why they don't go to the doctor. Okay, you messed up. You got to change that way of thinking. Okay, so we're going to speak about the historical evolution of ilhad, which is deviation, in the names of Allah. He's the creator, his knowledge of everything. They don't believe that Allah knows what man's going to do. They don't believe that Allah knew that this war would happen. They don't believe that Allah knows when it's going to stop. I even got people asking me, is Allah speaking the truth when he says the things he says? Astaghfirullah. So we're going to speak about the evolution of deviation in the names and attributes of Allah. And again, we have to emphasize that predestination, that's one of the tenets of faith. We believe in Allah. We believe in all his books, all his angels. We believe in paradise, hell, and everything he's told us about them. And we also believe that nothing happens unless Allah wills it. That's predestination, known in Arabic as al-Qadr. And al-Qadr is associated with the names and attributes of Allah. And we talked about how when we speak about predestination, which is al-Qadr, it consists of 4 categories: Allah's knowledge, his will, his writing, and the creation. Okay? To deny any of that is denying the decree of Allah and invalidating your belief in Allah. And that's why the world is as it is today. So, according to Muslim historians, the first Muslim to deny the decree of Allah was an Iraqi convert. Remember, Mukhtar's teaching you guys the history of Islam. You guys are learning about how, under the caliphate of Abu Bakr, how Abu Bakr sent Khalid bin Walid, also Abu Ubaidah, Dirar, and others to fight against the Romans, because the Romans had heard about how the Muslims had defeated the Persians and the Romans. Heraclius wanted to put an end to the Muslims, the Arabs, for once and for all. So we talked about how in Mukhtar's class, how Khalid bin Walid led the army in the attacks against the Romans. The Muslims took over Basra. They ended up taking over Syria, defeating the Roman Empire, and then the Romans converted to Islam. Well, there was an Iraqi convert who used to be a Christian. His name was Abu Yunus. But remember, the Christians, they deny predestination. They don't believe in the Qadr of Allah. And the reason why they deny it is because of the Hellenic influences of the European philosophers. The Christians have mixed Greek mythology, Homer, Aristotle. They've allowed all this stuff to destroy the Christianity. So Christianity denies the Qadr of Allah. So when Abu Yunus converted to Islam, he didn't believe in that. He could not grasp this idea of Allah having knowledge of all things, that nothing bad happens or good unless he wills it. He couldn't understand the fact that Allah created us and he created even our actions. So what happened was he ended up apostating. He ended up going back to Christianity. But before he apostated and went back to being a Christian, he had a student named Mabad. Mabad ibn Khalid al-Juhani, who was from Basra. And so even though Mabad's teacher apostated and went back to Christianity, Mabad continued to spread this teachings of his master, who could not get a grasp on Allah having knowledge of everything, and Allah being the creator of everything good and evil. And we talked about how Mabad had a big following, because remember, the Romans were Christian. And just like with any new ideology, people convert to it, and they always bring their baggage from their past ideology to it. That's what the Vikings did. When the Vikings converted to Christianity, they brought their worship of the evergreen tree into it. They also brought their worship of cloths into it. That's how they got Christmas. Christmas wasn't a part of Christianity. But this is what happens when people adopt or convert to new ideologies. Oftentimes, they like to bring their old ways into it. Well, a lot of people had converted to Islam and adopted the way of thinking that Mabad and his teacher had. So we talked about how during that time, we had Ibn Umar and a few other companions. They were living in Medina. Medina was the headquarters of Islam. The original companions stayed in Medina as Mukhtar was teaching. They didn't, Abu Bakr kept them close. Umar kept them close. They, during the first 4 caliphs, they stayed in Medina, the originals, because they were the teachers. They were the scholars, the people to guide and spread the dawah to the others, the correct dawah. So anyway, some of Mabad's students went to make Hajj, and they saw Ibn Umar. And that's when they approached Ibn Umar. And they said, Ibn Umar, we're from Basra. And Mabad and our teachers are teaching us that Allah is not the creator of everything, nor does he have knowledge of everything. Man makes his own decisions, and man makes his own actions. This is the thought of, it's called free will. Free will. The Christians believe that the free will is that man freely makes his own actions, and Allah is not aware of them. So when they explained this to Ibn Umar, he said, this is a sacrilege. That's not Islam. He said, the Prophet Muhammad didn't come with that garbage. He said, that's some Christian garbage. He said, any of you who believe that nonsense, any of you who follow that belief system, you're not a Muslim. You're not one of us. And so what happened was these men ended up going back to Basra, but guess what? Islam continued to spread, and Mabad and his followers continued to teach this broken down concept of known as free will, which today Muslims today teach. The Sufis follow that belief today, different sets of them. The Murji'a follow that belief today. When Mabad died, Ibn Umar and all the original companions that were living at that time, they said he's not a Muslim. They told the people, do not attend his funeral, because the simple fact that he denied the decree of Allah, that Allah is the creator of everything, and that Allah has knowledge of everything, and that nothing happens unless Allah wills it, he's not a Muslim, so don't attend his funeral. So that goes to show, guys, how many of Muslims are there today. There's a lot of people that use the title that call themselves Muslims, but if you're denying the actions of Allah's lordship, You're protesting against his decree, like a lot of y'all are doing. You don't understand that he made war. Allah made this war happen, not the Zionists. Allah created the COVID, not some twisted scientist. Allah creates, Allah wills. If you don't believe that, Muslims, I'm sorry. If Ibn Umar and them were living today, they say the same thing about y'all. Y'all ain't Muslim, and if you die, don't nobody attend your funerals, because that is not Islam. That's why I tell you guys, we have to check our aqidah, because a lot of us, when we die in kafir and don't even know it. You can't play with those articles of belief. You can't play with that. You have to believe in Allah's lordship, guys, all aspects of it. Tawheed ar-Rububiyyah. Y'all got to stop listening to these famous Sufi speakers in America who are telling y'all all kind of garbage. And then when you die, guess what? The angels snatch your soul and say, you wasn't no Muslim. You didn't understand, and you didn't believe that war comes from Allah, that disease comes from Allah, that sickness comes from Allah. Allah said when you get sick, he always sends a treatment. Take the treatment. But look. Okay, hold on for a second, guys. My mother had that surgery. Hold on. Something going on. Oh my God. Let me see, guys. Hold on. What's going on? Hold on. Well, wait a minute. Calm down, Layla. Calm down. Hold on. Oh my God. Hold on. Calm down.
Calm down and be okay. It'll be all right. Allah's will, Allah's decree. You'll be all right. Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Just be patient. Be patient. Everything's all right.
Yeah, she made it through the surgery, but she's in pain, which we knew she'd do that.
That's gonna happen. I know. Yeah.
Okay, then nobody's answering. They say she's screaming for Jayla. She's screaming for my daughter and Jayla because the pain is unbearable.
It's working.
Aisha, if Aisha's on here listening, call my mother. Call Isa. Call somebody. Chandani is upset. She's not picking up the phone. She just texts me, and she said, she's screaming and yelling for help, screaming and yelling for Jayla. I can't take it. I'm leaving out. Oh, God. Hold on for a second, guys. Hold on. Let me get it together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pain. The back surgery is the worst surgery. My mother had back surgery. They had to redo her back, and the doctor said it would be painful.
Yes.
And my daughter's a nurse. For my daughter to walk out and Chandani can handle stuff, it must be bad.
Yeah.
Aisha, if you hear me, call somebody. My mother or something. She can't answer the phone. Call Isa.
Let me call Latifah and have her call Aisha.
Aisha might be in here listening to me because she knows everybody. Mukhtar's mother too. Sister Ajoy, any of y'all listening? Call Isa.
I don't see Aisha.
Yeah, because they all talk. No, they logged in here on the internet. Yeah.
Oh, internet.
Okay. Let me try to get my daughter one more time, y'all. Because my daughter, for her to walk out, that's bad. That means she must be in some serious pain. Hold on. Layla, get your hand. Let me try it again. That's why I didn't go. I have irritable bowel syndrome, my anxiety. That's why I didn't go. Because if I'd seen her acting like that, I know I wouldn't be able to handle it. That's why I'm not there. That's why I stayed here. She ain't answering. Hold on for a second. Oh, God. That's why I didn't go. Yeah, they say that surgery, that they said that the surgery was a success, but they said she gonna be in the worst pain of her life. Ain't no, okay, nobody's answering. So they probably dealing with her because they said she's calling for. Where's Jayla? Wait a minute. Jayla's usually calm. She's a nurse too. I mean, wait a minute.
Latifah's coming on, Layla.
Jayla? Okay, so what happened? Your mother said that she walked out. That my mother's screaming for you. What's going on?
Hello?
Assalamu alaikum. Well, Jayla, are you at the hospital? Oh, you at the hospital? Are you with my mother? Okay. You getting shift report?
Yeah.
Who's that screaming? Oh God. Jayla's there at the job. She getting shift report. I heard her screaming. I heard the screaming. No, that's why I didn't go. I knew that was gonna be some terrible pain.
Yeah. All right, so
yeah. Latif, just call Aisha and tell her that she woke up. The surgery was a success, but evidently she's in that pain that they said she's gonna be in. That Chandani had said that she couldn't take it. She walked out because she's screaming and hollering. Jayla just got to work. I just called Jayla, as you could hear. Jayla's getting shift report. You know, she's calmer than everybody. She's getting shift report, but I heard my mother screaming in the back. Yeah, so tell Aisha to check on Jayla, check with Chandani, see what the heck going on. Aisha might want to go up there.
You should go up there.
I ain't going nowhere. I won't make it. I was gonna go earlier today, but they said it wasn't no need because the surgery was supposed to last 4 hours. So I came home and I talked to her. I talked to my mother and I told her, I said, okay. But you know, the surgery only lasted 2 hours because the doctor said it was a success. But he said that
something to relieve her pain.
That's what it is. He said the pain is going to be the worst pain of her life. He said that. So Chandani is in there as a nurse, and Chandani texts me and says she's screaming and yelling so bad it's scaring Chandani. Chandani had to run out, and she says she's screaming for Jayla. So Jayla just got there. Jayla ain't even supposed to be at work yet because Jayla works third at 11, but Jayla got there now. And you heard me talk to her. Jayla's song sound calm. I said, Jayla, I could hear I'm getting the shift report, and I heard the screaming. Ah! You know how my mother does that scream.
All right, so
but I couldn't go. I would never make it there. You know, I'd be at every bus stop. You know, I wouldn't make it there.
Yeah, just stay here.
Call Aisha. Tell her she might want to check.
Just stay here.
Let me calm down.
Calm down and go ahead and finish.
Yeah, let's do the class, guys, because I can't go to the hospital. I got irritable problems. I would never make it. Okay, let's do the class. And yeah, they can give her some pain stuff because they say it's bad. She'll be all right, inshallah.
Yeah, that's the only thing she needed, some pain medicine. And
yeah.
If she just recently came out of
surgery, she just came out.
She's gonna be acting crazy for a few minutes. Yeah. Or maybe a little more longer than that, but she'll.
Okay.
Eventually she'll go to sleep.
All right. Okay, let's get to the class, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I tell y'all, I got so much going on here. And I'm trying to do these classes.
Okay.
All right. So this is the first instant of deviation. And as you guys can see, to this day, we still have Muslims that follow this stuff. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Also, guys, as Islam continued to spread because of the wars, and we're going to cover it during the Caliphate of Umar, the Caliphate of Uthman. It was during the Caliphate of Uthman, guys, that the religion spread throughout North Africa. Okay. and Spain and all of that. And as the Islam continued to spread, the philosophical innovators of free will, this is called the Christian doctrine. The Christian doctrine of free will continued to find new supporters. And again, that indoctrination entails denying that Allah has knowledge of what he created. In other words, Allah didn't know that Israel was going to make their attack against the Muslims. Allah didn't know that the Hamas was going to start it off with their instigated by doing what they do. So the Christians deny this, and this continued to spread as Islam continued to spread. And then we have a man named Galen ibn Muslim from Damascus, from out of Syria. He was one of the students of Mabad. He really traveled around, twisting belief in the qadr of Allah around into the Christian indoctrination of free will until Umar's grandson, and we're going to cover his caliph too at this website, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. He was the fifth caliph. He had this man Galen brought before him and also had him executed. He had him executed. So that, again, that shows that what a horrific sin this is, because again, this brings about death. This is the same as denying that Allah even exists. Okay. And this continued on with another man named Jaham ibn Safwan. He continued on until he was executed by Nasir ibn Sayyar in the 7th century. So as you can see, this continued on to what it is today. And what are the three elements that contributed to the spread of these corrupt beliefs? What made it happen? Well, number one, the companions died out. The original companions died, and so did the ones after them and the ones after them. Remember, guys, the Prophet Muhammad said each generation of people will be further and further and further away from the true Islam. So as the companions and their students and their students died off, it continued to become even worse. And also, remember, the best of the Muslims were the first four caliphs and also Umar's grandson, Abdul Aziz. After his death, the rest of the caliphs were not about nothing, guys. We had a bunch of corrupt rulers. The early generation of Muslims, they resisted innovation. They wouldn't allow it. Anyone that distorted the original teachings of the Quran or the Sunnah, they would execute them. Okay? But this didn't happen after they died off. After they died off, the later generations that came, the leaders after those original four caliphs, they supported and encouraged research into philosophy, just like what we have today. I call them the PhD brothers. We have these PhD Muslim brothers that y'all like to follow here. They all got PhDs in Islam when there is no such thing as a PhD in Islam, because again, hikmah comes from Allah, not from man. But, as man becomes educated in worldly things, man thinks himself superior. So that's what happened. The leaders began to encourage research into philosophy, psychology, and all that crap. And then they would do just what they're doing today. They would tweak the Sunnah, tweak the Quran, We're not going to follow this aspect of the religion. We're going to change this around. The same thing that's happening today. And that's why I'm always telling you guys, history repeats itself. History does nothing but repeats itself. So that's how our traditional Islam became distorted. Okay? Corrupt leaders. Also, another element that contributed to the destruction, of the correct belief system is decentralization. As Islam spread, no longer was Medina the home or the capital of Islam. Medina is where you could go to find the real scholars, the original companions and their students and their students. But as Islam spread, people there made their countries the seat. Syria, Iraq, Egypt, they made their countries the seat of rule instead of Medina. Okay? So the people of the Sunnah had no choice but to see the original Sunnah become distorted, because one thing that Islam teaches us, guys, even if we have bad leaders, we cannot rebel against them. And this is something that a lot of the Muslim brothers today don't understand. They talk about Saudi Arabia. They talk about the Emirates. They don't understand it's haram for us to rebel against our leaders, especially as long as our leaders are still praying. And these leaders today still pray. Call them what you want to call them, but we can't rebel against them. So all of this added to the destruction of the Sunnah. Remember, guys, the Prophet Muhammad said that one of the first things that will disappear is my Sunnah, my example. Instead of following what I came with, people are going to tweak it, twist it around, incorporate their own ideology in it. Okay? So, and also remember the Persians, the Shiites. That's why I was telling you guys, get out of the politics of the world. The Shiites, they contributed greatly to the defamation of the correct belief system. They were the ones responsible for the murder of Uthman. They were the ones responsible for the murder of Ali. They were every fitna that happened after Umar left this world. The Shiites had a hand in it. They're instigators because their belief system is so messed up. They believe that they got to start problems to wake up their imam, who they believe is in a cave sleep. Nothing's changed. They always sticking their hands in crap. So the Persians and other groups who were anti-Arab. By the way, Persians are not Arabs. They're Persians. And they've always had dislike for each other. You guys are learning that in Khalid, the class on Khalid bin Walid. The Persians always view the Arabs as being ignorant, uneducated, trifling, poor, raggedy people. The Persians always view themselves to be superior over the Arabs. So all of this political shenanigans added to this corruption of the correct belief system. Okay? Also, as Islam continued to spread, as the original companions and their predecessors died off, people began to abandon. They began to abandon the knowledge, the true knowledge of Islam. People weren't concerned with what did the prophet say about this? What did the prophet do? They were more concerned with, What does Sheikh so-and-so say? What does this famous person here say? Okay. And that's when a lot of innovation came into our religion. The spread of knowledge and the respect for it became lost amongst the Muslims. A lot of people were persecuted and executed as being fanatics. If you did speak out to try to uphold the Sunnah, you were executed or punished. You know, so all of this contributed to our downfall. And this is when the rise of the four imams began. After all the original companions and their predecessors died, that's when the four imams rose up. And mashallah, the four imams and Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Tirmidhi, they began to speak out. They began to speak out against the innovations. They began to speak out against the abandonment of the Sunnah. But look what happened to these men. They were persecuted. All of the four imams were persecuted and punished. Imam Bukhari died a horrific death because they all spoke out against this innovation that had infested the Muslim belief system. Okay. Listen to what Imam Shafi said in regards to the people of innovation. He said, my ruling regarding the people of theological rhetoric is that they should be beaten with palm leaves and shoes and then be paraded amongst the people, with it being announced that this is the reward for the person who abandons the Quran and who abandons the Sunnah of the Prophet and turns to theological rhetoric. That's what Imam Shafi said. And of course, you know, he was punished for that. Listen to what Imam Hanafi said. He said to his son about the people of theological rhetoric, he said, these are people who manipulate and deviate the names and attributes of Allah. They are from amongst those who you will see that they used to be upon one word and one religion until Shaitan came between them. So now you find amongst them hatred and differing. Okay, so Imam Hanafi tried to speak out against it, but of course, you know, people didn't listen to him. He was persecuted too. So the spread of deviation and understanding of the correct belief system is from the loss of the companions. When the original companions and their students died off, there was nobody left to check these people. We've had the four imams. We have people like Ibn Taymiyyah who came after them. Ibn Taymiyyah and his students, Ibn Qayyim and Ibn Qathir and Imam Nawawi and them, they tried to speak out, but look what happened to them. All of them were punished for doing so. So that's why it's important for all of us as Muslims to understand, if your understanding of this religion is not as those original companions, you're upon something else. This is why the Prophet Muhammad said, always check your belief system, especially if you live to see calamities coming from Allah. You live to see war and hurricanes, tornadoes, and murder and killing and homosexuality. Check your belief system, because it means you've deviated so far away from what I came with that Allah is sending his punishment. Again, Islam is only based on two sources, the Quran and the Sunnah. And if there's a question about something, you look to see what those original companions had to say. What did they say about the decree of Allah? What did they say about protesting? Did they protest? What did they say about boycotting? What did they say about women? What did they say about men? If your understanding of this deen is not like theirs, then you're lost. You're upon something different. So that's why we have all these different sets and these different groups today. This is why Allah has sent the war, and the war is not going away. You can continue to disobey him and vote in elections all you want to for kafirs. It's not going to change what Allah has willed. All it's going to do is make his will hit you in your derriere. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Are there any questions or comments?
That was right on key, Layla. Right on target. I mean, I really understand now about the 4 imams and what happened. I really understand.
The 4 imams were good men. You know, and so was Ibn Taymiyyah, and they were trying to call it because they weren't of the companions, you know, they came after the 3rd generation, you know, and they were trying to call the people back to the original Islam, but the people that was the caliphs back then, y'all be trying to, the history of Islam stops. After Ali, that's it. Anything else we don't care about. We'll do Umar's grandson, and that's it. We don't care about the other caliphs. Salahuddin. So what? Salahuddin did a lot of crazy stuff. He ain't nobody. I'm sorry, he ain't. So, you know, we know everything went downhill. Those other caliphs were upon something else. And they violated a lot of Allah's laws and rules. They didn't fight like Khalid bin Walid. They didn't uphold the laws of Allah like Abu Bakr did, like Umar did, like Uthman did, like Ali did. As Islam spread, these others that came after them didn't uphold that. You know, but see, you guys are deluded.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it wasn't them fighting for anything. It was the 4 imams trying to hold it down, and they were not police. They were persecuted by them.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Our history.
Well needed.
Yeah, our history ain't all pretty either.
Sister Layla, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You said we should check our belief system. How do we go about doing that? Like checks and balance. Like how do we know?
When I say check, that means, are you one of them people that believe that that Allah doesn't create evil? If
he does create evil.
Okay, then that's what I'm saying. You check that stuff. Do you truly believe in Allah's decree? Part of Allah's decree is that he's the creator of everything, good and evil. If you don't believe that, your Aqida's gone. You ain't no Muslim. That Allah that nothing bad happens on this earth unless Allah wills it. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Do you believe that everything bad comes from Allah too, including sickness, disease, war? Do you believe that?
Yes.
Okay, but there's a lot of Muslims that don't. That's why most Muslims don't take medicine. They don't understand. They think it's the white man trying to kill them. They think that sickness and disease come from the white man. Or sickness, I'm not taking the COVID booster because they're sticking a camera in me because I'm Muslim. If you're thinking like that, your Aqidah is corrupt because disease, including COVID, comes from Allah. But Allah says, I'll never send a disease without sending a treatment. So take my treatment. But the Muslims ain't taking his treatment. So what's wrong? Something wrong here, ain't it? So that means check yourself. Do you really believe in Allah's angels? That's another example. A lot of people say, I believe in angels of Allah. Oh, really? But you don't believe that there's an angel named Ridwan? Ridwan is the custodian over paradise. You don't believe that there's a custodian over paradise, then you don't believe in his angels. That's your belief system. It's corrupt. We have to believe everything that Allah said to believe. We can't. Do you believe that it's that a woman has to wear a hijab? There's a lot of Muslims out there who don't believe that the hijab is mandatory. Then that means, what's wrong with you? Your belief system is corrupt. We have to believe everything that Allah commands us to believe in. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just simple. It's real simple. You don't believe that praying is an obligation? You don't believe that women are cursed for praying on their period? Then why are you sisters praying on y'all period? You see what I'm saying? Check what you claim to believe. Like I had to tell a person recently, you don't believe that? Do you? Yeah, I know it's haram to vote for Kafirs, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's another example. Something wrong with you. What do you mean you know that it's haram to vote, but you're going to do it anyway because you think that if you vote, you making a difference that Allah can't make? That's an example. Something wrong there. Like the brother that asked the question last week. I know Allah said that our enemies will never never win over us, but is Allah telling the truth? That's another example. What do you mean? You think Allah is not? That he's lying? Something's wrong. All of this is the lordship of Allah. This is the problem that Muslims have, is with his lordship. Same problem that the Christians have is with his lordship. That's why Christians are kafir. And that's why it's going to be a lot of Muslims in hell as kafirs too, because we got the same problems them Christians got. Like the prophet said, we will imitate them in everything. Just like the Christians think they going to heaven, they going to end up in hell because they didn't believe in his lordship. There's a lot of people that call themselves Muslims that's going to be right there in hell in their grave because they had a problem with Allah's lordship. We got to get it together, guys. You got to trust in Allah and stop trusting in man. You got to fear. That's another thing too. How many of y'all fear man, but you don't fear Allah? That's another problem with your Aqidah. You're not supposed to fear anyone or anything more than Allah. You fear America and Israel more than Allah? I mean, yeah.
Sister Layla, I have one more question.
Uh-huh.
You know, I hear these words in Arabic all the time, and I'm glad you clarified one with fiqh, because my husband is Arabic, and I asked him, I said, what is fiqh? And he stood there for like 10 minutes.
I told you the Arabs don't. Yeah, they don't speak.
And then finally he came to something. He was like, a deep understanding. Yeah. So I was like, Sister Layla already told me that, but anyway.
Yeah, I tell y'all, Arabs don't speak. Fools, y'all know how we have classical English. If I were to come in here and speak like Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? We don't Shakespearean English. We don't speak Shakespearean English no more. If you watch a movie that's in Shakespearean English, you ain't going to understand nothing. Well, that's how the Arabic is. Fusha is the original Arabic. Arabs don't speak it anymore. They speak slang. Like Dr. Jamali said, Jamali speaks Egyptian and Palestinian. That's not Fusha. He knows Fusha though, because he went to school and got a degree in it. But my father, it was Egyptian. He spoke Egyptian. Your husband's Moroccan. Okay? But none of them walk around speaking the Fusha. When
Layla, sound. Can't hear you.
What is wrong with her? Can the rest of y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, tell me. Yes, I don't know what's wrong. Just like my brother, my oldest brother, he learned the Fusha. And when he went to Egypt to visit my family for the first time, when he was young, he got off the airplane and started speaking, and everybody was looking at him like he was crazy, and they were laughing at him, and he didn't know why they were laughing at him. So when he got in a taxi cab, The taxi drivers, he said something to the taxi driver, and the taxi driver laughed and said, I'm going to tell you. He said, you're speaking the Fusha. He said, we don't speak it. He said, and it sounds funny. He said, just like if you guys were to speak, if you were to say, Romeo, wherefore art thou? Thou forth people. He said, the people would laugh at you. That's how it is when we hear Fusha. We don't speak it. So that's why most Arabs read the English. Like Dr. Asim said, you know, and that's why you ask them to tell you what a word means in the Quran. They can't. It's because they don't know. They have to look in the English. And the English ain't even close half the time. So
I was gonna say, so the word shirk, we hear that word all the time, but what is the,
and like I told you guys,
when you say when we have to correct our belief system, when we don't believe that Allah is that he doesn't create evil, is that a form of shirk?
Okay, shirk is a word that takes on different. This is another thing. A lot of the Fusha can mean different things depending on how you word it. Shirk in English not only means to associate partners with Allah, but it also means disbelief, depending on how you use it. It also means to hide something, depending on how you use it. Okay, so when I'm talking about your belief system, I'm talking about what you believe in. That's why I use English. I don't use this Arabic with y'all because y'all are confused. You know, your belief system is your belief in Allah. Your belief in Allah. If I were to teach you guys about shirk, which I'm going to do later on, I'm going to be teaching y'all about not hiding. I'm going to be teaching y'all about associating partners with Allah. We're not talking about associating partners with Allah. I'm talking about belief in Allah. Okay? There are certain sins that we commit that fall in the category of disbelief in Allah, but we're way far from that topic right now. I'm trying to get y'all to believe in Allah. I'm not teaching y'all what invalidates that belief yet, or how to associate partners. And there's different levels of shirk too. You got major shirk, minor shirk. There's some type of shirk that doesn't take you out of Islam, but that's a whole nother topic. I don't want y'all to think about shirk right now.
Okay, thank you. I hear that word all the time. So I'm like,
When you hearing people talking like that, tell them to tell you what they saying in English. The word for belief is aqidah, not shirk. Aqidah. If you hear somebody speaking about aqidah and tawheed, that's your belief system. Shirk means to associate partners with Allah, or to disbelieve in Allah, or to hide something from it, which is something totally different. To cover up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't get lost. And that's why I tell my new shahadas, don't get lost in Arabic. You better learn this stuff in English. Because if you learn
You're
it,
the only one teaching it in English.
Yeah. When y'all learn it in the language you speak, that's right, Brother Edwards, you understand it. That's what he said. Like he said, I don't even listen to the Arabic. He said, because I wouldn't understand what they're talking about anyway. Yeah. You need somebody.
Even some of them are speaking English, but they use so much Arabic, you can't follow.
That's what Edward's saying. Edward said that because they don't have, they need to go to school. When they come to America to give dawah, they need to go to school and learn English, and they need to learn civics, American civics. Now, Brother Muhammad Ziyada, he's Arabic. Y'all think he's a white man. He's not white. He's Palestinian, but he was born in America. His English is perfect. Dr. Ali, we're going to have him tonight. Dr. Ali is Egyptian, 100%. But he was born in America. His English is superb. You will find those kind that's great. But the other ones is hard, I know. They need to take English classes, and many of them don't. They come here and just learn English from whatever mosque they go to, and it's bad. And most of the mosques they go to are Arabic mosques, and it ain't helping them anyway. Yeah. They need to learn English and they need to learn American civics. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Mina. It's easy to say that we believe. And that's what happened as Islam spread throughout the world. People converted to Islam, but they brought that Christian stuff. We got a lot of Christian Muslims here. Just like Juma Mubarak. Do y'all know who originated that? Some African American woman. Oh, yeah. In the early 2000s. She converted to Islam and she decided to take Arabic because she thought learning Arabic is learning Islam. So she came up with Happy Friday because she said we used to celebrate Sunday as Christians. Well, what's wrong? And since Friday is our day of celebration, Juma Mubarak. There you go. Big innovation. They weren't doing Juma Mubarak back in the Companions' days. This is some crap that just happened here in America. So, innovation, people keep innovating. They bring these Christians, they convert to Islam and bring their Christian ideology into it. It's sad. Yes, you didn't know that? Yeah, Juma Mubarak, we don't know. That's nothing there. That's an innovation. And we're going to talk about innovations too. We're going to talk about shirk, which is associating partners with Allah in the different categories. And we're going to talk about bid'ah, which is innovation. But I want y'all to focus on aqidah, your belief system, and tawheed, which is the belief in the divinity of Allah. Yeah, exactly, Sister Amy. You got to crawl before you walk. Exactly.
Another thing that's happening today, you're saying Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah to someone while they're saying other things relating to goodbye. They're not giving you the greetings, they're saying other things. I don't want to say those things because I don't want to put it out on the website, but you know what I mean. They cannot end it with Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. They got to put other stuff with it to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's been going on too for a while.
That's a long time. It's so messed up.
Yeah, our greeting is corrupted.
Yes.
And we wonder why the war is here. This war ain't going nowhere. It's going except to spread around the earth. It ain't disappearing. And these brothers need to be teaching this stuff here instead of whatever they teach. I don't even know what these brothers are teaching. All they do is argue.
I think you taught them tonight. What you taught tonight, the brothers ought to understand it and know exactly where they went wrong. SubhanAllah.
Yeah, these brothers are crazy.
Yeah.
Just like I say, even the brothers that call themselves upon Sirat al-Mustaqim, why are y'all teaching about the 4 imams?
Yeah.
They ain't no, I'm sorry, they ain't the companions. They ain't the tabi'in or the tabi'in. No. Why don't you teach about these companions?
Yes. Yeah.
Who cares about the madhabs? Why are y'all teaching about the 4 madhabs? Islam ain't based on no madhab. There's only 2 sources, the Quran and the Hadith. So what are y'all doing with these madhab classes? You're calling people away. I don't get it. And you would think it wouldn't be so hard.
That's why Allah has blessed you to set everybody straight.
Girl.
Definitely setting them straight.
Here, these people.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, guys. Dr. Ali is at 9. Please be here for Dr. Ali's class at 9. And also, guys, we are $300. $300 overdrawn in our account. Remember, I didn't check all week. Well, now y'all see why I didn't check, because I've been dealing with my mother and people having, I've been dealing with a lot of drama. So today, let me go look on there again. I said, let me check our account. Girl, let me log into it again now. Let's see if we got anything. Yeah, oh my God, we are $359 overdrawn. 350, we are overdraft. Girl, look how much they charge for overdraft fees. $36 a day. 1, 2, 3. We were overdrawn since the 29th, I think. Why they charge all these overdraft fees? What
Because they can do it now for the simple reason, too many times when we have not paid our bills correctly. So we can't even can't even ask them to relieve some of that.
They paid the bills for us, but I got to pay the bank.
But you got to pay them back.
Yeah, they paid. Yeah, so whatever, I see what came out, they paid it, but we're overdrawn, $350 some. So please, guys, we were really more than 300, but your donation took us out from 400 to 3.
Yeah.
Because you made a donation. It shows that you made a donation yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were 400 overdrawn. Now we 300.
Mm.
Well, we were more than that because I see the Cash App from Sister Khan. Her little $20 Cash App took us up a little bit, you know. Her Cash App. Yeah, so please, guys, support this now. Get us out the hole, because on the first we got to pay these bills all over again, and they adding up $36 a day. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to log out for right now. We'll be back at 9. Supana kalahuma wa bihamdika ashad online la haila enta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I'm glad I didn't